We live. Welcome back, all you beautiful people, to that We Got Action podcast. We're coming back, something a little different. We're going to try a little bit shorter episodes for y'all. We're going to try to focus on one episode NBA, one episode kind of NFL, more focused, college football, kind of winding down a little bit so we don't have too much for that. So try to split it up instead of like one big old long 2 hour plus chunk. Maybe get like something 45 to an hour for you, and then another one 45 to an hour for you over the weekend, maybe Friday, Saturday upload for you guys. So we're going to come at right now. We're doing episode 24. This is going to be NBA talk. We got a lot going on. The season is in full swing. Teams, still a lot of surprises, a lot of teams hanging on there. Dave was joking around earlier in the week talking about was it Kings? He was saying Kings Jazz conference finals.
Kings,
like some of these teams are hanging around a lot more than we expected. But Danny, you had some you were talking about beforehand with about the All-Star game rosters or something.
Yeah, so now there's a new story coming out. Obviously, the CBA is going to be coming up and it's going to expire
Right.
soon for the NBA. A lot of talks of a lockout already going to be happening, but another wrinkle into everything. Obviously, everybody knows that, when NBA players make a all NBA team first through third, get a bump in their contract on the next one, obviously a certain percentage. And then now the NBA governors are fighting against expanding the NBA All-Star rosters. So now, again, if anybody does not know, if a certain player, like for example, in your rookie year, years 1 through 4, years 1 through 5, if you happen to make one or two All-Star games, your next contract has a jump of about 15 to 30% in your salary. So again, it's something that the governors are trying to fight back on. The players want it. They're looking to expand the rosters to about 14, 15 players, obviously like a full roster and things like that. But what's your guys' take on that? It just seems to be another one thing after another with NBA governors obviously not wanting to lose any more money, not wanting to spend any more money, give away more money, whatever you want to have your take on it. But I think it's just kind of foolish at that point. You know what I mean?
Go ahead. You missed a contract, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things, like, I don't see the need to expand
I was thinking the same thing.
That's like my biggest thing on, like, when in terms of siding with the governors, like, there's no need to expand the rosters. Like, a lot, yes, every year we get snubs, but we always get, like, it's gonna happen. But that's I feel like that's part of the experience, right? Like, that there was a year, I think it was Kemba who got left out his like last year in Charlotte, maybe.
It was and
everyone was going crazy.
Like
right? Yeah. And I think that's part of it, right? Like, wouldn't it be boring if every single player who deserved to be an all-star got an all-star?
Because then at that point you're looking at people who may not deserve it getting in.
And you don't know it year by year, right? There's sometimes a lot of players put up all-star worthy seasons. Some years gets a little bit more down, or a lot more guys are hurt, and you're like, you're squeezing the whole Atlanta Hawks starting five into the
that was a crazy year. That was the crazy
all-star games, right? Yeah. Like, I don't see the point. And like, as far as like the contracts go, like, it's a stipulation for a reason, right? It's a stipulation based on this.
It's an exclusive thing.
It's based on this 12-man roster that is hard to get, especially if you're in your first few years, unless you are, a stud,
literally going bananas
Trey,
at that
going
point.
like these types of guys.
Yeah.
So like, I'd actually would probably be more inclined to side with them. With the governors on this one.
I'm actually glad you said that, because that's what I was going the exact same way, that I think having those 12-man rosters, it makes that exclusivity factor. And that's why you made the good point. I think that's why you have those stipulations in contracts. It's for if you're going to be an all-star caliber player, that you deserve the money. And I think they shouldn't be something that you just hand out. Now, I mean, 14 or 15.
To me, it's similar though, like the Pro Bowl.
Like,
I feel like if you expand like that, it's not going to have as much. I think like the NBA's like is still holding that All-Star as like a valuable
it's a 24
thing. Whereas like
best players in the league.
Whereas like with the NFL Pro Bowl, it just doesn't have the same feel as like an NBA All-Star type of thing. It's like that's one of the few things that the NBA I'm glad that they kind of held on to, is like you said, the exclusivity of it. Of being able to be an all-star.
Over everybody though.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
also the fact that the sports are like, you know what I mean, like baseball and basketball, you can play in a non-serious manner and it can still be a really good game. Like, you still see pitchers throwing good pitches. Right. They're not going to gas it as hard as they can and throw their arms out, right? Like, it's the same. Basketball, you can play a good game. It's like a casual pickup game. Football, you can't.
Right.
Unless they start making it truly like flag football or something.
Well, that is in the talks.
Where it can
That
get
is
a
in
little
the
bit
talks.
more
But
intense.
and I think that's the point too, is
Yeah.
like that's why you don't see real contract relative things for like making a Pro Bowl, really. You know what I mean?
And if it does,
it's not
typically
really anything
guys
crazy.
who are like maybe never gonna get a Pro Bowl, or like maybe can make it as a replacement, because there are stipulations where it'd be like, oh, here's a $500K bonus for making the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, it's an actual incentive for somebody who's not Pro Bowl level,
it's not,
who's gonna get it every year.
It's not a hey, your next contract is gonna go up 20% because you made the Pro Bowl 2 years in a row or something like that. So like I think it just has, and I think the money in the NBA is like I think it's enough. Like
that was another point I was going to make.
At some in a few
well,
years.
the thing is too is that NBA players still get paid for the All-Star appearance. Like they'll still get, it's like between 25 and like 100K or something like that for the appearance itself. But the fact that if players are trying to also tie that to their contract, because then it's going to be like, well, they made an All-Star appearance and then all of a sudden they made an All NBA team. So you're telling me that their next contract salary is going to jump, let's say 50%.
Yeah, at that I think the All NBA overrides because it brings it to a max,
right? Yeah,
or a super max.
But I'm just, but you know what I mean? Something like hypothetical to where it's gonna be like, oh yeah, we're tying All-Star appearances plus the percentages with the All NBA. Like, you know, if something crazy like that was to
it'd be the same thing as if they went, we want to make it so there's 5 All NBA teams because we don't feel like enough players are getting credited with All NBA, and all of a sudden you're looking at 10 more players getting eligible for Supermax contracts.
Yeah.
Right. And it's things like that. And you're like, what's the point? Like, you're just at this point, you're throwing money away because, again, not every year are you going to have 5 guys at each position that you're looking at and being like, that is an All NBA player.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very, I mean, there's a lot of snubs in All NBA but it's more so. We know the players are All NBA, but it's just where they're ranking.
Yeah, it's like a lot of it has to do with the positional thing with the centers. I think is the biggest issue.
Too is that the argument seems to be tailored towards more of those guys on rookie contracts, and
correct.
You know, you can see like Darius Garland last year, but how many guys really in their first 4 or 5 years are making multiple All-Star games? It doesn't happen in NBA.
I mean,
like
at least it happens in like that 4th and 5th year type of.
I think it's becoming more.
But at that point, you might have already signed an extension
because we're getting a lot of these guys do sign extensions
early.
But it's the same thing. Making an All NBA team, like you can sign an extension and then make the All NBA team, and it boosts your extension money. So I would imagine the All-Star money is the same. Like it would.
If it were to include all of that, I get you.
It's just I don't know. I think this is one where like I'm normally a super like, you know, players first, get the bag type of guy, but I think this one's the one I'm on the side of the Governors. We don't got to be changing some of the shit like that.
I think it's good the way it is.
Yeah.
I think you made a good point, Danny, that the NBA kind of has the All-Star game down pat.
Yeah.
And I think that they already get paid a ridiculous amount. Again, I get it's tailored towards more of those young guys, but
MLB All-Star game over everything, though, if we're being completely honest. Come on,
I'm picking MLB, man.
That's what I'm just saying. MLB, yeah. That's what I said.
Okay.
Yeah, MLB All-Star game over everything.
I like watching Ohtani face 3 goats up at bat. That stuff's insane.
Yeah. I think both sports have it really down with the events, and even more so than the game.
The home run derby, the contest, and all that stuff. Yeah, except for the dunk contest.
The dunk contest
someone's got to revive that.
Yeah,
Zach and Aaron Gordon need to pull something off.
They got to fix the whole dunk contest. But the 3-point contest is fun now. Like it wasn't, the 3-point contest wasn't this crazy before.
No.
So, but I'm sure obviously there's going to be news coming out about it. So we'll obviously talk about that when the time does come. But kind of getting to more specific news now for some NBA movement. So Kemba Walker just got signed by the Dallas Mavericks yesterday, or actually this morning. So interesting move. Again, it's what I kind of put down was that it's basically, you know, they bring in, you know, obviously a vet. It's that typical vet signing that hasn't been with the team and all that. But it's like, I don't really think he's going to make a difference. I think it's going to be like maybe a couple of games, but his defense is going to kill him, especially with Jason Kidd. I just he's
bring
up
Kemba Walker's.
Well, that's what
his
knees and all that. But obviously, he was never a defense, even balanced offense and defensive type of player. I just really don't think he's gonna make. I don't really think he's gonna make that type of impact. If we're being completely honest, I mean.
So here's my thing. I think Kemba Walker deserves to be on a team. That's
Correct.
not. I'm
agree.
okay with them signing a vet. I think he's proven when he's played games recently in the sparing time he has played games.
Yeah.
Hasn't played a full season in what, 5 years? If he does, this year wasn't a full season again, so it'll be 5 years since he's really played a full season. But I think it just wasn't the move the Mavericks needed. I think the Mavericks need somebody that's a true sniper to put next to Luka. I don't think Kemba Walker is the move you're looking for to make the Mavericks
get it.
better.
I get, yeah. I get what you're
That's
saying.
the issue. I do think they need a third ball handler.
It's still the playmaking.
It's almost like grabbing Jalen Brunson again and making him a little worse. You know what I mean?
So that's what I was actually going to get to. Obviously, if this move doesn't pan out and let's say they make it, I think they'll make the playoffs. But I don't think they're gonna make a run like they did last year. But
no.
Should they though have paid Jalen Brunson? Obviously all of his stats currently a career high points per game. He's at 22, career high in assists, career high in steals right now. Obviously he has more minutes, more shots with the Knicks. But should they have re-signed him? Should they have just coughed up that bag because he was a solid player next to Luka, and especially when Luka was not on the floor, could have been that primary scorer for the second unit whenever he was playing with those guys.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
With you talked about them needing a sniper. I think they have guys who can shoot the three. I think Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber,
right.
Reggie
But how
Bullock
many of
are all
those
good
guys
shooters.
can you consistently?
But, so right now most of them
I'm talking a star.
Yeah,
like they need
a Clay.
They need somebody in that category that's gonna make people stay true to that player rather than being able to sag off and clog Luka. You know what I mean?
They also got to play Christian Wood more because
I would have been happier with them going and getting even like a Melo, something like that. Somebody who can sit in the corner and if you sag off of him, he's gonna hit the shot.
And
create. That was the big
Melo,
thing.
you can just dump into him and he can create his own offense. He might not be able to create for others that well, but he can create his own offense, and then something that I think only two players on the Mavs are currently capable of, in Luka and Dinwiddie. So,
and I would even go Christian Wood as well. He's able to to an extent, but obviously nothing like a guard or at least like a small forward type of player or anything like that. But it's just something that we'll have to see. Before we do finish this part, do we think it's going to work out? Yes or no? I think it's not going to work out. I think he's going to have a good couple of games, but I don't think it's to where he's going to make a true impact like everybody is thinking, or at least like they're expecting.
If it depends on what you define working out as, like, is it going to make like
he'll never be
at least like I would say no, nothing like that, but I would at least say showing some consistency and being able to get through the 10 season
off the bench.
I would say 10 to 12 off the bench, giving them at least I'd say about 20 minutes.
A lot. I think they still have good mouths to feed right now, but
yeah,
it's tough when you just say, will it work? I think it's broad. I'll go with, I don't think so. I think he won't re-sign after. I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it was the move that team needed to make to stay. And again, they are competitive. They just got to a conference finals, but I don't think they get back there because I don't think they got significantly better from last year.
Yeah, it's not enough, man.
I like the Christian Wood move, but again, when Luka's your focus point, you need another sniper. You need guys that are going to hit shots.
And granted, too, before we do move on, like we're all high on this team as well. I think it's kind of like JaVale McGee isn't playing; he's barely getting 5 minutes off.
I can't remember. I'd have to look back where I had them. I know I didn't have them in the top 3 because I'm pretty sure
I had them at least like top 6 if I'm not mistaken.
Warriors.
I definitely had them
Nuggets.
I definitely had them making the playoffs without the play-in.
Yeah,
I think we all had them in the top 6 though.
I think we all did. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we all had them at least in the top 6.
Pretty sure. Yeah, but alrighty. So next thing we want to dive into surprising teams. But we're going to talk about 2 specific ones that I do not think anyone really thought that they were going to truly compete, at least in the early part of the year. Indiana Pacers and Sacramento Kings. So Indiana Pacers are coming off a game winner yesterday against the Lakers from a 17
that was bad.
Making a 17-point comeback.
With 9 minutes left, 9.5.
Yeah, with about 9.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They came back on a game winner from a rookie as well. And then obviously they're 12-9 right now. Sacramento 10-9, but obviously they've shown promise. They're showing that they're more competitive. But which team to you guys is the more surprising team in the earliest part of the season that we are in right now?
I'll say Sac. I think Sac's more surprising.
I'm gonna go with the Pacers. I think when you talk about what both teams have been trying to do, the Kings clearly made a push to last season getting Sabonis.
Yes.
To make that like a statement and try to become a playoff team. Okay. So it is, they brought in Kevin Huerter. Like they were making moves with
that boy
trying to make the playoffs in mind, or at least try to make a step towards the playoffs in mind.
That's who the Mavericks need to go grab.
Yeah,
Kevin Huerter, make a trade at
the Pacers were supposed to be tanking. We were talking about them selling off
tanking.
Buddy,
I don't think so.
No, they were, bro. Like, I mean, well, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
say
but look
like
at how I think they
tanking,
retooled decent in the.
But their intention was like it never seemed like their intention was to, like, obviously they drafted Mathurin, great pick.
Okay, but who'd you have higher expectations for?
I had higher expectations for the Kings.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, with all
the
what,
a game?
With the moves they made, I think
what moves?
The thing with me,
the Kevin Huerter signing.
The thing with me was that the more surprising team to me, I'm going with Indiana Pacers.
Indiana, yeah.
That's my surprise team based off of talent. Kings to me have always had, I would say they've always had mid talent to try and compete. They've always had certain names to try and compete, just never worked out. But the Pacers,
DeMarcus Cousins.
Exactly. And the Pacers literally, you did not think that, well, obviously Miles Turner, you got Buddy Hield, you have Tyrese Halliburton, you have players of that nature, TJ McConnell, Benedict Mathurin coming in, but you did not expect them to be this competitive and to actually keep putting up a fight like they are. Mm-hmm. Whereas with the Kings, they've always brought in good names. Obviously, most of the time they were bad contracts. They just suck. But either way, though, I'm picking Indiana.
I think it's a tough question, actually.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna last though for Indiana. I think the Kings have more of a realistic shot to make the playoffs, but I just don't think Indiana is gonna. It's just
what am I missing here?
The same. What do you think? What do you mean? What are you missing?
Well, I mean, you sit here and you look in the West. You got the Warriors behind him, the T-Wolves behind him, the Mavericks behind him. I'm pretty sure we all had those three teams making the playoffs, which pushes the Kings to 9 or 10.
Except for.
Whereas if you go in, I feel like if you go into the East, I think the Pacers have a much better chance to at least scratch 7 or 8.
I think so, but I think
because again, I think the East has always been top heavy the last few years.
They're gonna have to make a decision on whether they're competing or not.
I think they're competing.
I think the Kings sell off.
I still think it's very possible that they trade Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, and anyone who's not young.
Mm-hmm.
And like with the fact that they're doing well, it only raises the price because now they go, hey, we don't need to trade these guys, right? Like we are doing well. Obviously, there's some guys on expiring contracts and they want to get rid of that, whatever. But it's like they have now a little bit more, they're able to ask for more because they're saying, hey, look, we are
because all their stocks are up right now. Yeah. All the stocks are up right now.
Yeah, if Miles Turner can continue to stay healthy, because that's the thing why people are hesitant to trade for him. His health has been a big question, but he looks good. He's averaging like 20 and 8 with like two or three blocks a game.
And defensively, he's a monster right now. And that's the thing. And that was the main thing too. Obviously, with Miles Turner is him staying healthy. But now the fact that he's staying healthy, he's performing, especially like showing he's really top dog on this team. I mean, you're able to, I think, at least get 2 picks just from Miles Turner by himself. I feel like.
Plus a couple maybe not 2 firsts.
It's a lot, but something along those lines. You never know. Obviously, the Lakers are desperate.
Are they desperate though? No,
they look pretty good.
They're starting to pick it up. I think they're gonna have to figure out how to bring LeBron back in full swing of things because they were playing really well with the Russ and AD duo.
I mean, they just dropped 40.
Yeah, LeBron
still don't have defense. That's their problem.
Yeah, LeBron will figure it out.
Inconsistent.
I'm sticking with the Kings. I think yes, they made a lot more moves to be more competitive, but I just think when you look at expectations, we always expect a bad team to be bad. So I think it's decently impressive that they're sitting in the mix.
Yeah,
through 20 games.
Yeah.
Shout out De'Aaron Fox.
Hey, swipe up. But next thing that we are gonna get into, that we kind of want to preview for you guys. So obviously, you guys have not you guys haven't heard another voice. So Isaac is currently taking the episode off for this one here, focusing on some other things. But what we want to preview for you guys is that when he does come back for next week, we are going to be doing a little bit of an NBA draft for you guys on the show. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a 5-man starting lineup.
Randomized first pick.
Yeah, we're going to have a randomized first pick. We're going to pick a 5-man starting lineup, and then we're going to pick a 6-man off the bench for us as well. So this is going from the current players. No. This is only current players from the league. So that is what we're going to be going based off of. But we're going to wait on Isaac to come back so that way we can present that full swing to you guys. So that we can actually have 20 players, or actually 24 players in total instead of just 18. So it'll be more fun that way. Yep. But another player that we wanted to talk about, obviously, he's been slept on the entire time he's been in the league. Obviously, him being with the Thunder doesn't help that much either because it's a small market team. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, do we believe if he keeps up his numbers right now? So just to kind of read you guys some numbers. So he's top 5 right now in PER.
It's a good caveat.
Player efficiency rating at 27.96. He's currently 3rd in scoring in the league at 31. 3rd in field goal percentage. 2nd in free throw percentage. 4th in steals at 1.7. Do we believe that if he continues these numbers, even if the Thunder do not make the playoffs, should he get all NBA consideration?
Yes.
I think he'll definitely get the consideration.
You don't think he'll get it though?
It depends. If he doesn't make the playoffs, he's going to require the other point guards, if he's classed as a point guard only, to like Steph at this point has got one lock. Steph and Luka have got one locked up if they're both point guards, 1 and 2, right?
Depending on how
I think they'll both get first team. I think.
Mm-hmm.
If it depends on how the voting.
I think they'll put 2 guards in, just knock out the shooting guard and put Steph and Luka in first team. Can't. I feel like that's
if they truly go positionless like they've been saying that they want to.
Yeah.
So
then if you're looking at it, you got guys like Morant, Trae Young, Lillard if he can.
I think SGA over Morant.
But you're saying that now. If the Grizzlies get 2nd seed, 3rd seed,
so dumb though.
And he's because he at this point, Ja's averaging 28.5, 6 and almost 8.
That's 4 points less than SGA.
Okay, and he's got how many more wins, right? Like
okay, but look at the players around him.
But that's the thing.
But that's the thing. That's
all NBA.
I like where you're going.
How many all NBA? How many times have we seen an all NBA guy who hasn't made the playoffs?
Especially have like one of the worst records in the league. On top of that,
look. I don't even know. That's a good question.
That is something that we will have to research, though. I actually want to research that and find that out. But I think that he should still get all NBA consideration. I feel like you can't penalize the player for the situation that he is currently in, especially in SGA when he's leading the team. And I'm sorry, if he keeps, I would say I don't think he's going to average 30 the whole entire year, but I think it'll probably go down to maybe about 27 or 28 points per game for the entire year. But I just don't see how you cannot. I just don't see how you cannot have him in consideration for at least one of those.
I think right now, hands down, he's a top 15 player in the league.
Correct. I would definitely say that.
Close to top 10, but I would say top 15.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think yes. I think he has to get it. I mean, I do understand the argument, especially in NBA has always been at the end of the day about winning, not like MLB. I think NFL and NBA have always been more about winning. We saw even like Aaron Rodgers last year. Maybe didn't have the stats that Tom Brady did, but his team was just better. So I think that kind of edged him out. But I don't know, dude. Sometimes there's exceptions. I'm sure if we look at some of LeBron James's earlier years when the Cavs weren't great, he was still making it all NBA teams.
Yeah.
Maybe they were sneaking in the bottom half of the playoffs. So, yeah, it's going to be tough if they don't make it. But I don't know. Those stats, man, that's like you're talking about top 3 in the league stats.
That's what
and
you're
not going to put him as a top 15 player makes it tough. The positions also make it tough.
Looking ahead, there was
Did you find one?
I found some stuff on Reddit, people discussing. Obviously, Steph technically missed the playoffs while making All NBA first team when they were 8th seed and lost in the play-in.
Correct.
Oh,
so they technically missed.
Technically,
but he was otherworldly there.
Yeah.
And then the Warriors were, technically in a playoff spot when the voting occurred.
Yeah.
Kareem won an MVP while missing the playoffs, so I would assume he also made the All NBA team. And then Kareem, and then Pete Maravich,
Pistol Pete,
in 76, man. And AD in
He was a
16,
dog.
17 for
That's
New
one of my dad's
Orleans.
favorite players, Pistol Pete.
Yeah.
So it's happened before, but like look at the names we're
It's
talking
rare.
Oh,
Steph,
legends.
Steph,
Legends.
AD,
And
Pete
Pistol Pete.
Maravich,
Those are legends.
Kareem,
Those
right?
are
Like
legends.
all of those guys are going to be, if they're not Hall of Famers, they're going to be Hall of Famers.
Yeah, no, those will be legends.
So Shea
and
has to
especially
keep
too
it
back
up.
then, I feel, especially too, back in the day, obviously with Kareem, Pistol Pete, I feel like you had very few select stars, superstars. You know what I mean? Like it was
those
easy
were
to choose
were
from.
superstars.
Yeah, those were the stars back in the day.
Shea, if you're talking like if you're swapping like Shea and Steph, right? And say, you know, Steph's the one outside the playoffs, then it gets a little bit more complicated because
Steph.
It's Steph. It's always got, you know, you're
I
gonna
think
have your guys
SGA is
who are
on the rise
preset.
for it though.
He's
He
on the
might not
rise,
get it this year, but if he puts this up consistently,
and I think if they can get close, if they can at least pretend to have a playoff fight.
What if they make the play in?
Then
I would say so. You have to.
So what if they're a top 10 team?
I would say that you have. I'm saying that regardless or not, if he keeps these numbers up,
I think he's going to be considered.
Right.
I think they're going to consider him, but I don't like I said. I think they have to be a
third
little bit
team
more
is that last guard in. Maybe I could see it. I could see it.
It's hard when you have so many great point guards around
but if
the league.
Stats stay the same,
but you can't.
He's still top
they
3
like
in
to
those
balance the
2 and
stats
3.
Like,
some of those
it's
stats.
Not like Ja's like crazy behind him. It's not like Trey's super behind him, and Trey's been slumping.
Trey's putting up numbers and he's inefficient.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, if Trey could just, you know, make a few more of his threes, he'd be putting up
100%
a game.
I think Trey will.
So
I
think it's something. I think it's something that we'll kind of have to discuss at least. I would say mid-season.
We'll see. We'll see All-Star game.
We're gonna have to revisit it
if he's still pushing 30,
and especially too if he makes the All-Star team.
But I think even more impressive than his 30.
The efficiency.
It's not that. It's if you go look at the other stats, he's racking up like it's like 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and like 2 steals and a block and a half. Yep. Like
he's putting up otherworldly numbers.
I was looking through my fantasy basketball, like, you know, players looking to trade up in blocks.
Yeah.
And I'm like sorting. So I sort by who's got the most blocks, and I'm scrolling. I just see who's got 31 points with 1.5 blocks. Or 1.2 blocks.
Yeah, he's at 31, 6 and 5.
31, 6 and 5.
Almost 2 steals over a block a game. Gone down. He's only turning it over 3 times a game.
Yeah.
3-point percentage could go up, but 92 from the free throw line. 50 from
he's
the
typically
field.
and he's typically efficient too. He
he only shoots about 3 or 4 threes because he's playing 36 minutes a game too, which is that's impressive.
Yeah, and typically you don't see that type of efficiency with heavy numbers like that. So
a lot heavy usage in his.
Well, it's because they're going to shut him down after the All-Star break anyway.
Yeah,
trade him. Their tank.
So Wemby. But now talking about point guards, so we wanted to kind of really want to dive in and get our own opinions on who we believe are the top 5 point guards from each conference right now at this point in the season. So. To start it off, I'll start the list off. I'll give
break
my
it down.
West.
You're gonna go east.
I'm gonna go
first.
west. Okay, I'll go east and then west.
Tough.
So my top 5 point guards for the Eastern Conference first.
Do you wanna? Are we all gonna go east, or you want to go both?
I'll go both. I'll go both. Just so that way, and then we'll talk if we got anything else. So my top 5 point guards for the Eastern Conference right now. I got Tyrese Halliburton at number 1 right now. Number 2, I got Trae Young. Number 3, I have Darius Garland. 4, I got Kyrie when he does play. And 5, I have Jalen Brunson rounding out my top 5 for the Eastern Conference point guards. And then
that's a damn good list, boy.
Going to the Western Conference now for my top 5 point guards. This one's a toss-up here. 1 and 2, I got Luka 1, Steph 2. You can swap those. 3, I have SGA. 4, I have De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
5, I have John Morant right now.
Yo, barbecue.
I
like it. I like it. I'll go because my East is the exact same. I didn't know who to put, Trey or Tyrese 1, but I think Tyrese, I'm pretty sure, is the only point guard in the league right now to be averaging a double-double.
11 assists.
If I'm not mistaken. 11. Yeah, exactly. So
it's not even no shabby 10.1.
So I'll go Trey number 2. I think by the end of the year, Trey has a chance to overtake him if he can start being a little more consistent. As we were just talking about, that efficiency is a little down than what we're used to with him. But give me Trey at 2. Give me DG at 3. I'd like the Kyrie pick a lot because when he does play, he's still. I mean, I stick by it. I stick by it. I think Kyrie is the most talented point guard up there, top 2 or 3 maybe to play ever.
Yeah.
And then I said Jalen Brunson. I was between Marcus Smart and Jalen Brunson, but Vitor made a good point that Marcus Smart doesn't really,
I'd call him more of a combo
guard. Yeah, I don't know if he's a 2 guard as much as he is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would call him, but I would maybe call him a point guard. But I don't know. I like what Jalen Brunson's brought to New York.
And the fact that he's being the person that they signed right now.
Yeah,
you know what
no,
I mean?
100%. I think
doing
he's
the job.
he's bringing that chip on his shoulder back to what they kind of needed when they had made the playoffs. For my West, give me Steph, give me Luka, give me SGA, give me Ja, and then give me De'Aaron Fox.
Steph is shooting 52%.
No, bro, give me Steph. I love Luka. Luka's at what, 33,
9 and 8.
33, 9 and 8. Okay.
Yeah, with 2 steals.
I thought it was. Did he go down?
What?
34. I thought he was at 34.
At some point he was, but the more you you chuck in 122 pointer and your average plummets a point at that stage. So
yeah, I got Steph right now. I think Steph's otherworldly.
Yeah. I feel like those right now is just a toss up.
The East was tough, man. I feel like the East is definitely
the first 2 are very
Hallie
easy
and Trey. And I made a point to Vitor before we started. I think DG still averaging 24 and 8.
Yeah.
While including Donovan Mitchell into the mix.
23 and 8.
That's super impressive in my opinion.
Yeah. Because you would have thought that his stats.
Up.
I mean, obviously when a big player like that gets on your team, you typically see that you've already been the star on your team. It'll go down and dip just a little bit. But he's still upped his game.
Yes,
like he's still going, which is the huge part.
I think that's very impressive, and I think that's why I put him up at 3.
Yeah.
What you got? I'm sure it's similar.
It's very similar. The top 4 is pretty much the same. Hallie, Trey, and pretty much interchangeable. I've got them both in fantasy. I think Hallie's been a tad better. I think especially when you consider in expectations and stuff. But and then 3. I think I'll give it to Garland. I think if Kyrie had kept up playing as well as he was before
those 8 to 10
suspension,
games he missed was tough.
Yeah.
But because he was putting up numbers all across the board too. He was, racking up steals and blocks. Yeah. He was doing everything. I think obviously Ben Simmons' emergence is probably stunning some of his numbers because they don't need him to go for, crazy numbers as much. But and then I'll go Kyrie
too has been sniping recently.
Yeah. And then just to be a little bit different, somebody who's neck and neck across most stats with Jalen Brunson. And I think he's getting a little bit overshadowed just because of his new teammate. It's DeJounte Murray.
Good number. I like it.
He's at almost 21. Brunson's at 22, averaging 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 threes, which for DeJounte, who's not known as a shooter, and he's shooting 89% from the line. Like he's doing really well. And I think him and Trey are figuring it out.
Yeah.
I had him. I probably have him. I probably put Marcus Smart 6 and then DeJounte 7.
Yeah. I'd probably have, DeJounte and Jalen Brunson like this.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably have Drew and then
Drew
Smart.
Holiday. Yeah. I like Marcus Smart.
I love Drew Holiday.
I like Marcus
The way you guys feel about Marcus is the way I feel about Drew. Just that like does it all, like super key player to any like winning team.
Yeah. I feel you, bro. All right, who you got for your West, bro?
West. Yeah. I mean, Luka and Steph 1 and 2.
Really? Okay. Y'all got Luka first? Both of y'all?
I put Luka first.
Yeah. It's pretty interchangeable at this point.
Bums.
But Luka is leading in every statistical category except for 3-pointers made.
Bums.
So
look at the usage.
We don't look at that. It's historic.
Yeah.
And then 3 goes Ja.
Okay.
Actually, no.
SGA?
I'll go SGA over
Good call.
Ja, but I don't know if that'll last. So
I don't think so, but I think right now.
4.
Right now.
Yeah, right now. If we could literally do this in like a month and it could be completely different.
Yeah.
But
now who's the 5?
5.
Don't say it.
What do you think I'm gonna say?
There's only one right answer, but
I want
hate De'Aaron Fox.
I want to say somebody who's, I think, also gone under the radar this year.
Oh Lord,
and I'm gonna go Dame.
Dude, how? He doesn't play.
He's missed a few games, and
he hasn't played in 2 weeks.
He hasn't played. His last game was the 19th, so it's been 10 days.
Nah, but then he missed a stint before that too.
Yeah, he did. Come on now.
Yes, but so
I get
if he played more, when they
were playing well, they were number one.
If he played more, here's my thing: if he played more, number one, obviously.
Yeah.
He's missed quite a bit of games this year, more than Kyrie. And 2, if they actually were bad when he was gone.
Yeah,
they're still extremely competitive when he's not on the court.
Having Simmons there,
I think that hurts him. I think if you pull De'Aaron Fox from the Kings, they're a lot worse than they are.
It's not a statement more about the roster, just the roster's bad. DeMontis.
Just saying, I don't think they need Damian Lillard.
If they want to be serious about competing, they do.
But do they need him more than they need the Kings? Than the Kings need De'Aaron Fox?
Not necessarily, but I still think
De'Aaron Fox has also taken a massive jump from last year too.
Yeah, and his massive jump has him scoring less than Dame and assisting less than Dame.
Look at the sample size though.
Yeah, but I think
you're saying he's scoring more, but he's played 10 less games.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you think
that's going to skew the scoring? Dame throws 2 duds in there. You were just talking about it with the other people.
Come on, man. Your argument is collapsing on itself.
No, he just hates.
Come on, dog.
No, I also think Dame deserves the credit for his play while he's been playing.
What play?
You act like he's missed the whole season and he's played
damn near games. Half of it. We've only played 20 games. It is half the season.
We've already
literally half the season
with 2 separate injuries.
He's played what 10, 11 games.
That calf strain is going to be a problem.
Yeah, it is. Hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he doesn't re-aggravate it though. I think if he does, then he's kind of on the decline.
I'm not saying De'Aaron Fox is a better player. He's not. But I'm just saying.
No, just right now.
De'Aaron Fox is a better player because he's actually available and putting up 25 a game.
Exactly. We always got to talk about availability is the best.
It's the best. That's one of the best stats for people, man.
So now,
just be out there.
Now we still stand Kawhi over here.
Yeah,
Mr. Unavailable.
Team Kawhi and Dame.
But
Mr. Miss a season.
We've kind of been pushing this off about 20 games in so far. That's our Chicago Bulls. So
we're so annoying.
Yo, low key, we have been pushing that off.
We're so annoying.
Every time we bring it up, we're just like,
we do.
It's because it's exactly that. Like I would have been so hyped to talk.
This will tell you right now. The Boston Celtics have 4 losses all year. 2 of them are to the Chicago Bulls.
Yep.
Yeah,
but then we go and lose to OKC. We'll go and lose to the Magic. What do we play? Charlotte.
That was one of the most painful games I've ever watched.
But then we'll beat the Raptors. We'll beat the Jazz, who are playing good so far this year.
We beat
the Bucks. You know what I'm saying? But then we go. Our 9 wins might be the best 9 wins in the league. But our 11 losses might be the worst.
Take away our bad losses.
We beat the Pels.
Wins. Yeah.
Like we got massive wins and just terrible losses.
Yeah, we beat the Heat twice.
The one thing though that I do want to talk about though. So obviously I think we can all agree on that we are really in this mid stage right now of what everybody figured we were going to end up being when we signed DeMar DeRozan, got Nikola Vucevic, we signed Zach and all that. I feel like everybody kind of sensed that we were that mid-average team. One thing I do want to bring up though, obviously a rebuild or retooling has gone out there. Do we believe, or I think we're all going to have different answers on this. Should the Bulls rebuild around Zach Lavine like originally anticipated? Or do you believe that they should have a full rebuild? Before I let you guys get into all that, so the current picks that we have right now in the first round are in 2024 and then 2026 through 2030. Our 2023 goes to the Magic because of the Vucevic trade.
Unless it's in the lottery.
Yeah. Our 2025 goes to the Spurs because of the sign and trade.
Tank, baby.
Yeah.
And then we do have the Blazers 2023 pick, but that only conveys if it's outside of the top 14. So whenever they land outside of the top 14, then we get it. So it may be.
They need to make the playoffs.
Yeah, so they need to make the playoffs. We cannot trade our 2024 or 2026 first rounders during the season. Because of the step-in rule, you can't trade your first pick in back-to-back years. We only can trade them on draft night on each of those nights. Do we believe the Bulls should build around Zach, or should they go on a full-on rebuild?
That's tough, man.
I think a full rebuild's out of the question, like straight up out of the question, because I think we have our mix of age and talent. It's going to be the same situation if we try to do a full rebuild, where then Pat is going to be thrust into that role where we know that we've seen it whenever he's the guy that he can put up the numbers, and then he's going to continue to develop, and then he's going to put us ahead of schedule. And it's going to be another cycle. I don't think we're in a position where we can afford to rebuild fully. I do think we have to retool, and not only because of some of the shortcomings of the team. I just think when you look at it, I think him and I have talked about this since maybe
he signed his ass, boy.
DeMar DeRozan isn't really a championship player, right? And the way he's been playing the last year, he's been one of the best players.
I was about to say, I'm not saying he's 100% been a top 15 in the last 2 years.
Anybody who says he's a championship player, he cannot lead you to a championship. I don't care what anybody says.
If he can play second fiddle to somebody, but I think
that's not his game, which was
and I think it's
not like Zach. Zach is a perfect. Zach could be a number one, but Zach is also
the perfect
one of the most coveted number two. Like, imagine if the Mavericks got Zach. That's the type of player I'm saying can play off of Luka like that. If
you go through like fan bases, especially in the offseason when there was talk about like, oh, what are the Bulls gonna do? Like, could they possibly go forward with DeMar and try to move Zach, or if he doesn't want to re-sign, do a sign and trade? Lakers fans were drooling. Mavericks fans were drooling, right? Like these fans, like they want Zach Lavine to be a part of their team.
God, yeah.
And it's like when you look at our team structure, we have two major flaws. We have a big who's only good here and there on one end of the floor, and we have a guy who's arguably our best player who limits other players on offense. He has the ability to both win us games on his own and lose us games on his own. And
we're not talking about Zach Lavine either.
Seems to always disappear in the playoffs. So I don't know. I mean, we've been fantasizing about packaging Vooch, DeMar, and whatever the hell
should have happened before this season
to bring in a true
take whatever picks we can trade,
get
take
Joel,
Vooch and DeMar,
get Jokic, get somebody, a true number one, a true guy, and then build a team
and then sign another sniper too,
right?
We need 3-point shooting.
Kobe's been playing well.
Pat too's been
Pat and Kobe have been two of the brightest spots of the team over the last few games.
Io's turning into a mini DeMar, which is hurting me a little bit. But he's still such a hustle player, which
I don't think right now though he's not a starter in my opinion.
No. I think
he has games where he's just not consistent enough yet with his limited, like, I think it's the 3-point shooting.
It's a lot of indecisiveness is really what I'm seeing. Is that when he's open, he won't shoot.
Which is weird because I feel like last year he was super decisive.
And I think I think that's part of the learning curve.
Too.
Yeah. Like he kind of was thrust into a role and he had to take it, and he's that kind of that guy who, like, if somebody throws that on him, he can handle it. But now he's again trying to figure out his role. Kobe's back and playing.
Okay, but who are we not talking about?
Zach.
Nope. Lonzo.
Yeah.
Where's he at?
Talk about another perfect compliment to any team that wants to win.
That's another highly coveted player that a lot of teams would foam at for.
The thing that scares me is we have not heard an update since the season started.
I mean, we've heard
the surgery. We've heard good.
Little but
timetable.
But you would think that there'd be
estimate.
I think they're trying to keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
I mean, our front office has been pretty good about most of their
this year.
But
ain't no way.
I mean, if it's better for the long term, I'm here for it. Remember, he's not 30.
He's 25, right?
Yeah. I think he's 24 or 25 at this point.
Yeah.
So like again, he's gonna have 2 more years on his contract after that. So it's again, we want him back for half this season and then dealing with shit, or can he be healthy for 2 full years or close to healthy for 2 full years?
And one thing too is that I would say he's at a bargain right now of $20 million, because we signed him for 4 years, $80 million. That's really a bargain right now. And when healthy, he's one of the top point guards in the league.
Yeah, he does too many things that, like, when you talk about a sniper, he's the definition.
He's that.
You talk about a lockdown defender.
Yeah,
definition. You know, you talk about a guy who can make the right play almost every time. He's
in
that
the
guy.
open court and in the half court.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
So
and it's the team just plays so much better around him. So think about moving
I don't
Vooch
want
and
to think about
DeMar
it.
and
So
getting
the-
somebody to complement a Zach, Zoe, Pat type of
Okay.
lineup. You know, get a big in there who can truly complement them.
Unfortunately, all of those bigs are
Unavailable
because they're locked up.
So you guys are in the boat of retool around Zach.
I
Yes.
agree. Yes, I would
I'm in
say
that-
Zach and Pat.
I think we have
I'm in
good
that
pieces.
same boat. I'm
I
in
think-
that same boat. I think that we signed DeMar. It was a recipe for disaster for the ceiling of Zach Lavine.
Yes.
We saw what he can do.
You've seen it consistently
CJ
since
and
DeMar has been
too.
there.
Like, look at that. Like, they both
Yes.
played well, and it led to nothing. Like, I don't think two guard.
Right, and now
slash-
separate, they have both two possible
Yeah, they're both
conference finals contending teams.
They're both better as with other players complementing them than a clone of themselves or a player that's off like closer.
Yeah.
I think
But that's
we
what
just need.
sucks too is Zach can do so much more than DeMar can.
Yeah,
And I think Zach right now with the position that he's in is getting such a bad rap. It shouldn't be that way because we saw obviously they were bad and you can say, oh, he can't lead a bad team. Well, if you can lead a team while scoring about 25, 28 points a game with that roster, what he had to endure when he was healthy, let me know. Because the Bulls
we make the
Bulls,
playoffs if he doesn't catch COVID at the end of that year.
Yeah, when
but
we got
and the Bulls would gladly sign whoever you think you are that you can actually carry them like Zach with that type of roster. But
literally,
people saw what he was as a number one. I think that he's never had the opportunity to be a true number one to lead a good team because we ruined
team. That's the key. A good team
with a good team because we ruined that with bringing in DeMar and we also ruined his ceiling by Billy Donovan catering the offense and putting it in DeMar's hands.
You see, this is why we push it off every week because it just makes my ears bleed.
It's bad.
I'll be honest with you. I turned most games off at halftime because I just get annoyed watching them.
Yes,
I want to watch this high floor. I want to watch this open court. I want to see Lonzo passes to Zach and Zach just fucking.
It's hard to watch.
Throwing it down and then I just see DeMar dribble it up at the speed of Mach 0, back somebody down, and then maybe he hits the fadeaway. Maybe he hits it. Maybe somebody touches on his elbow and we get two shots.
I'm sorry too.
And then we're back on defense, and I just get bored.
In what world?
I get bored
because we see that DeMar takes. I think we can all agree 20 to 30 shots a game. 30 if he's really on a hot streak. Maybe even get close to that 40 like he did last year at one point in one game. But where is that going to get you a championship? Name me one team
to stop in the playoffs. That's why.
Name me one team that allows that to happen. It's nowhere. You can even say, "Oh, the Warriors let Steph shoot." That's Steph. That is Steph.
Well, it's also from
Clay.
30 plus feet away. That's unguardable. Like
exactly.
When you get into his mid range,
every shot he makes is worth 3 instead of 2.
Right.
Like
exactly
bare basics. Like
any team, the Celtics, the Heat, the Bucks, the Sixers, even they're gonna be able to scheme anything around stopping DeMar.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's easy to stop. It's easy to stop.
It's I would say even
unless he's hitting every shot.
I would say even look at it from like the perspective where like Rudy Gobert, they literally kill him in the playoffs.
Similar thing, yeah.
It's similar thing, but it's opposite because obviously defense and offense, but it's literally the same thing. DeMar has it in the mid range on the elbow and at the free throw line or anything like that, backing him down. You just pack the paint.
But it's not even just adjusting. It's the fact is he missed. Like if you watch the games against the Bucks, he missed plenty of shots that he would have be making in the regular season.
Except for Game 4.
Yeah,
regular season player, man.
Or Game 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Game 2.
He's a regular season player. Send him to the Lakers, though. I think he'd be a good fit with the Lakers because he has an alpha in LeBron, but he is not a lead. He is not a championship lead you to conference finals player. He is not.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. We need to rebuild around Zach.
I've been saying
and let
him
him.
Yeah, and it's again. I also think like if we really want Pat to be the guy that we all know he can be,
you got to step him up. You got to put him there. You got to
throw him into a spot where instead of being stand in the
Fourth
corner,
option.
run around. Fourth option on a good day. Like the offense is really catered around the 3 guys, and everyone else is kind of.
But like if we're just going based off of names, it's literally DeMar, Zach, Vooch,
and then fend for yourself.
Patrick.
It's probably whoever's hitting threes that day.
Pat game going off of his name, just talent wise, off of his name. But other than that, though, if you're looking at it from a night to night standpoint, y'all are right. It's literally those 3, and then who's going to surprise
threes that night.
Yeah,
it's
and
tough, man.
But shift his shots up, get Zach to take 2 to 3 more a game, have the ball more, because I think he's a better playmaker than DeMar is as well. Like he's much better 100%. At getting past his defender and making
other people involved.
Kicking out for an open 3 or dumping it off. I think he's just much better overall than DeMar. And we saw DeMar's playmaking in San Antonio. I think it was just a lot more of a system thing after having watched him for a couple of years now.
100%.
Like it was definitely a system thing, because that man can't,
especially with Pop. Like you're not going to defy him. You're not going to defy him. He will show you up if you're not going to do his system. But before we do move on, though, obviously Lauri Markkanen balling out right now with the Utah Jazz.
I won't accept that one, but go ahead.
No. Should we? Do you believe it was a mistake of us letting him go?
No.
Or was it the right move to let him go?
Wendell.
I think Wendell.
Gafford. I think Wendell hurt.
I think Wendell was a mistake.
Wendell, my issue with Wendell was always that it was like, again, deer in headlights. I think it's because I think Chicago sports have high expectations.
But he was he was playing well.
He was playing well
before the trade.
Yes,
he was coming into his own before the trade.
I don't think
during the COVID
with
year.
Lowry with us started off really good in his first few months. When he was lights out from 3, and never was able to find that.
February we averaged
for the rest
27
of his,
and 9.
Well, I think he holds the record quickest player ever to 100 threes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I just don't think he ever found that form until he got off of it.
It took.
I won't accept Larry, but I do think Wendell hurt.
I don't think
Wendell hurt
was tough too.
I just don't,
especially with the role he's
I
been
wouldn't
able to
call
fill since he left.
From Wendell a mistake. I would call the trade that it was done in a mistake.
I
think we just gave up too much overall.
Could have been ours.
I think it was just.
Could you imagine Franz Wagner?
I tell that to Vitor all the time. Imagine us drafting Franz, and then you don't have to fork out 80 mil to Lonzo because Franz is a similar player.
Oh,
maybe
I still would have forked out 80 mil to Lonzo.
Lonzo, Zach, Franz, Pat, and Wendell.
Oh,
but I think Wendell's also playing better because he's playing with other bigs again. Like he did in college. And I think it benefits him. I don't think he can be the center on a team without another true big.
Yeah, because he's very undersized.
Yeah, he's playing next to guys like Paolo and Paolo.
Hey, Bol. Finally, dude.
Hey, I'm happy for him. He deserves a chance because he can ball. He can ball.
Yeah. He is 100%.
So we finished with our Bulls talk again. We were putting that off for a while, but we needed to let it all out. We needed to let it all out.
It's just like it's so. I've never seen a more frustrating team.
Dude, because it's so. I feel like it's just. I feel like we're just better. Just put DeMar on the bench. I feel like we're better.
It's not even just. It's the fact that we can go and beat.
I don't even want anybody.
I'm not talking about play good teams. I'm talking about favorites to win championships, and then we go out and play dog shit to a scrubby ass team. And it's why can't you play like you did then every night? That's the difference between the contenders and the pretenders is playing like it means something every single night and being able to, if you make mistakes, you cut them out, the next game.
You don't got a Marcus Smart or
also,
a Giannis.
Since we're on the Bulls talk, did y'all see the extension news?
Billy?
Yeah, we extended Billy
before the season?
Even though he had 2 or 3 years remaining on his contract.
He had 2 more years, and apparently they added years. So I'm saying at least 2 to 3. I would definitely say
DeMar's out after this year.
He's got 1 more year on his contract.
He has 1 more. He has a 3-year
prime trade piece with 1 year remaining.
He is. Let's see what they do with it, man. But next thing, obviously, again, we put that off for a while. We needed to let it all out. But now we talked about Zach Lavine. Obviously, I think he's a player you can build around. We're gonna do a Would You Rather Zach Lavine edition. I got a great list for you guys. Again, it's gonna be positionless. I'm gonna give you guys some names. Let me know
I
who
hate
you
the
would rather.
position list.
My biases.
I hate
Let
the
me
position list.
let me know who you'd rather
You
have.
you are probably the person I know with the worst bias
Oh,
ever.
I'm so biased.
It's so bad.
I'm so
Yeah.
biased it annoys me
Like,
sometimes. but
think,
I'll be
think of the
doing these.
George Kittle episode. That was terrible.
Now we're not using
It's
him.
bad.
He's still
Yeah.
he's
He's
still great.
terrible. No, he's not terrible, but
So, would you rather Zach Lavine edition? Would you rather have Zach Lavine or Tyrese Maxey?
Zach.
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 Man, I like Tyrese,
I like
but give me
Tyrese,
Zach.
but I
I like
Zach. I think
Tyrese a
Zach-
lot.
Yeah.
I'm taking Zach as well for that one.
I like Tyrese a lot. I think Zach has more of a
Tyrese
full
is what Kobe should
out
be,
game.
but he's not.
Correct.
Facts, bro.
I like that. I like
Imagine.
that.
Can we
I like
swap
that.
that too, please?
I like that a lot. The next
me
one I'm
Zach.
gonna go with here. Would you rather have Zach Lavine or RJ Barrett?
Oh, Zach.
Hey, I mean, last year it would have been a tough question, but
RJ
give me
is
Zach.
just so inefficient.
He's mid, bro. He's very mid.
This I don't know what the
His total. If you look at his total,
It's honestly,
he looks like a
it's-
pretty good player, and then you
honestly,
look at
it's
all the in-depth
it's Tom
stuff, and you're like,
Thibodeau. It's Tom Thibodeau. If we're being honest, it's Tom.
he
Thibodeau.
needs to go, bro.
Yeah.
And
all right.
on his way out, give us Cam Reddish.
Give us Derrick
Derrick.
Rose. Derrick
That
Rose is
too.
only averaging 13 minutes a game right now. Give us back Derrick Rose.
Give me Cam Reddish. We need a wing, man.
Next one, here we go. Look, we're gonna get a little bit spicy here. Next one, Zach Lavine or Anthony Simons.
I'll take Zach.
right now I'm taking Zach, but
Zach?
maybe ask me again in like 2-3 years. Maybe we might change that answer.
All right.
That boy Anthony Simons is a
Yeah,
dog.
he
though.
went from
Hey.
dunker to 3-point specialist to all around stud.
Hmm.
That's exactly
Next
what
one
my
I
team is,
got.
my top 5 right now.
Would you rather have Zach Lavine or Desmond Bain?
Now you're pitting my heart against my heart. Two players I'm very biased
It's
to.
got to be Zach, right? I just feel like so far
It's a
the
lot.
names you're putting, I think Simons is probably the toughest one
I think,
because I think he does have an ability to create. I just think Zach's the more all around game.
yeah, and I think we do. I think we know.
Like put what Desmond can do up against what Zach can do. There is
Mhm.
nothing that Desmond Bain can do that Zach can't do.
the defense. That's the only thing.
Okay, but if Zach is in a system, it's not like Zach can't play defense.
But like, it's not like he's not. You know what I mean? Like he's out here.
It
what?
sounds like it's a
Wait,
toss
he's
up to
hurt.
me.
Doing what?
In a walk, no longer in a walking boot.
It sounds like it's a toss up to me. I'm gonna
Not-
pick Zach over Desmond Bain though.
I'm
I
picking
think
Zach,
I think
but
Desmond I think Zach can do everything Desmond Bain can do. I do agree with the defense. He's
I
a
do
much
think
better
that if
defender, but
if we just throw DeMar out, we will beat this. Like a lot of these won't even like we don't even
No,
hesitate.
I
No.
think Zach is
One of the most talented.
top 5 is high, but I would say top 5 most pure talented player.
Yeah,
I
up
would-
there
Like
with,
purely
Kyrie,
talented.
PG.
Purely
I would say that.
talented.
I would say that. All right. So next one we got here, championship winner.
Mm.
Would you rather have Zach Lavine or Andrew Wiggins?
Zach.
It's tougher. It's tough.
The Wiggins' impact on a
Man, I like Wiggins a lot. I've
Wiggins'
always been a
impact
big fan of Andrew
on a
Wiggins.
well-built team has been incredible.
Mhm.
But again, you throw
Yeah, but
Wiggins
it's not like he wasn't averaging 24 or 25.
21, I think it was.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about with Minnesota.
Yeah, I think it was like
Yeah,
21.
But in
he
some of
aver-
his best seasons,
Yeah. He's
he had
averaged
at
about
least
21.
24, 25, right?
I know.
At one, it was, but it was very like inefficient, ineffective. Yeah.
I think if you throw Wiggins and that Bulls team
Man,
instead of
he's so
Zach a few
large.
years ago,
So
Yeah.
large.
it's not, you're not looking at making a trade for a guy like Vooch to try to make a playoff push. I think you're looking at, all right, who else can we sell off to make sure we get the number 1 pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take
So,
Zach. I was
Zach?
trying to find arguments, but it's tough.
I'm trying to see his.
I'll take Zach.
23.6
So round it up, please.
on in his best year, shooting 45%, 16-17 in Minnesota.
That
Super,
was,
not
that was his
terrible.
rookie year, I think, wasn't
No,
it? Or
14th
second year?
Second,
Second
yeah,
or
14,
third.
third.
14.
God, I
was his
forget he's
third
been
year.
around.
Yeah,
I know.
I remember he was the
It's
number
weird.
1 prospect coming out of high school.
Yeah, it's so weird thinking about it.
Give me
but-
Zach. I was trying to
Alright.
reach, but just because I
Alright.
like Wiggy. I like Wiggins, but I was trying to reach.
Next player that I got here for you guys. Would you rather have Zach Lavine, or Jeremy Grant?
Fucking Jeremy Grant this year, man.
It's tough,
Motherfucker's
man.
making it tough right now.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I still think I'm taking Zach though. I mean, Grant did.
Oh, come on.
Grant's proven that he's not just a good option on a bad team.
He's proven to be a number one.
I mean, he's averaging 21
on
and a
both
half.
sides.
He's averaging
Right.
less than Zach is on a down year. So,
Right.
And
But
he's having a great year.
look at what he's doing right now with no Dame.
Yeah.
He's the number one.
How long?
He's putting
Dame's
up
been out
buckets.
10 days.
I'm still taking Zach, to be honest with you.
That might be the new closest one.
I think Bane's the closest one.
No.
I think you're underestimating Bane's game. Dude's averaging 25 points before the toe injury.
Now you had your opportunity for that play.
I just think every player you put in here, I just think Zach can do it all.
Okay.
Or at least at one point or another has proven he can do it all. Just
So,
last two seasons he's been a number two, which is fucking stupid.
So you still got Zach or you got Jeremy?
Man, right now it's tough. I think Jeremy Grant's fucking been balling these last few weeks, but I'll take Zach.
He's averaging about
I think he's a better overall player.
Without Dame.
Again, I just think he's a better overall player, man. I'm telling you.
Hey, just
3 years ago, like Vitor was saying when we were, or 2 years ago, I guess, 3 seasons, but 2 years. And he was playmaking a little bit. Yeah, give me Zach, man. I'll take Zach. That one's tough.
So the next one I got for you, just talked about this player actually. Would you rather have Zach Lavine or fan favorite Bol?
Hey, Bol's balling too. That one's easy.
Yeah, it's still Zach.
Come on, Danny.
I was expecting like a Jaylen Brown, like we're talking top 5 shooting guards.
That's no competition to me. I take Jaylen Brown over Zach Lavine.
Whoa.
But I'm taking.
Maybe we need to talk about that.
I'm taking Bol right now.
Just saying. So you telling me you telling me if you give Zach the keys, like Jaylen Brown's got the keys, you don't think Zach's better than Jaylen Brown? You think if Zach has the freedom to do what Jaylen Brown can do
and play with
somebody who doesn't need fully isolated basketball to score,
like Tatum.
Play with somebody who can actually.
I'm gonna say
a little bit
based off of what you've been saying, because of pure talent, it's Zach. But I think all around player, Jaylen Brown.
System, I think is a
system. And system is huge, man. Okay,
I think it's a system.
We're all with.
I think purely talent. I think Zach's better than Jaylen Brown.
So I had Bol over Zach. What about y'all again?
Zach.
Okay.
Bol.
He's lying. He's lying. Don't listen to him.
Yeah, come on now.
Throw some spice. Give me some spicy.
Next one here, I have. Would you rather have Zach Lavine or Jamal Murray?
I think this is unfair to Jamal since he's just coming off.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Pre
ACL. This is.
Well, you take it. You take this is. You take it however you want.
Yeah, I'm taking Zach right now. Jamal's coming back though. He had 31 last night.
Yeah.
He's starting to play well.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he's a fucking baller.
He is a baller.
Yeah. Oh man. That one's hard. I'll take Zach.
All right.
That was a bad player, bro. We're gonna pick him every time.
All right.
Unless you throw like a true superstar.
I know.
He's gonna throw play out for you. And then
last one I got here for you guys is actually gonna be that one right there. Would you rather have
true superstar?
Would you rather have Zach Lavine or Klay Thompson?
I'm taking Zach.
Prime Clay?
We're talking right now.
No, we're talking about right now.
Right now.
If we want to talk about right now.
Not later.
Clay is 2 of 8.
Yeah, I guess. That's a clean. We're gonna do a clean sweep for Zach.
All right. I like it.
I needed some Jalen Brown and Brad Beals in there, and some
I take Zach though
maybe
over
some
Brad
Van
Beal.
Vliets, maybe some other two guards.
I take Zach though over Brad Beal. I take him over
Honestly,
Fred
like if you go
VanVleet.
pure two guard, what other two guard would you rather have in the league?
There's guys like it's gonna be like Booker, who I just don't like Devin
Yeah.
Booker. It's like a person.
He's better.
So
Shout
I think
out Isaac. You know, we gotta shout him out.
I think we're talking
time.
Jalen Brown.
But is his all? Yeah, he is better than Zach.
Then we're talking. Then
it's close though, but
like,
Book is better than Zach.
Then if you're talking like if you want to call Harden a shooting guard, then
you can't fly. No, Harden's a point. Harden's a point.
Like Anthony Edwards is technically a shooting guard.
Give me Zach.
I'm not taking Ant.
List is kind of bare right now. So basically, if you're looking like if you're looking at top 5 right now, if you're looking at top 5, it go according to player efficiency rating for the season so far, it's Devin Booker 1, Desmond Bane 2, Paul George is considered a 2 guard at the he's ranked 3. Malik Monk 4.
I call more of a 3
guard.
Yeah, it's
that's a thing.
A 3 guard.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I'm looking at this list right now. I don't even see Zach Lavine in the top.
He is shooting 40% this year.
Yeah, I don't even see him in the top.
Dude, it's not even. It's
46.
Maybe is it Billy Ball
right now? I don't even see him in the. I don't even see him in the top 50 for. Oh, that's because I'm looking Western Conference. I'm so goofy, bro.
There you go. Ooh, he scared me.
I know.
I was like, Malik Monk
okay.
3.
Okay, Zach Lavine is 13th among shooting guards in the Eastern Conference. So he's at a player efficiency rating of 15.11. We're looking at all of the NBA. So he's 24th overall in the league in player efficiency rating.
3.
Is that among shooting guards or is that among all?
That is a 31st, or I'm sorry, 24th among shooting guards. So I'll read you the names ahead of him just real quick here before we do move on. Malik Beasley, Grayson Allen, Kevin Werther, CJ McCollum, Kelly Oubre, Jordan Goodwin, Trey Murphy, Benedict Mathurin, Anthony
So it's exactly the issue with looking at efficiency stats.
Yeah,
guys
Fred
who have limited
VanVleet,
roles are gonna.
Yeah,
Devin take 6 shots and hit 5.
Devin Vassell, DeJounte Murray's considered a 2. Paul George, Jalen Brown, Bradley Beal, Desmond Bane, Devin Booker, James Harden, they have considered a 2 guard, and then Donovan Mitchell also as well.
Oh.
So it's tough, man. But that'll finish out our segment here, though, and our NBA portion. So just to let y'all know, we're going to be splitting the episodes up here to give you guys a little bit something smaller, so that way you know whether it's NBA if you want to focus in on that.
Man, this one hurt.
If it's NFL and that's something that you guys more want to listen to. So we wanted to test that out. If you guys are liking that idea, if you guys are liking the shorter episodes, feel free to let us know. And you know, obviously we're getting more tuned in with our TikToks, with our Instagrams. Be on the lookout for those. They've been popping lately. We've been doing a great job with those. So if you guys are feeling it, give us a follow on TikTok at We Got Action Podcast. We are on Twitter at We Got Action Pod, and then our Instagram, We Got Action Podcast as well. We have all of our socials all in the bio there, so you guys can check everything out. And then all of our episodes are going to be uploaded every single week on YouTube. So feel free to tune into those. Those are also nice if you want to see all of our reactions as well. So this clears out our NBA portion.
Disappearing this week.
Yep.
This clears out our NBA portion though for episode number 24. So see y'all in the NFL episode very shortly. Thank you guys.
Peace out, y'all.